Further debate, the member for Prince Edward Hastings.
Thank you, Speaker, and I also applaud the member for Brampton Centre for this bill. And I'm pleased to see representatives from the fire services and from others here today. In earlier life at Loyalist College, I taught night courses to individuals from fire services, and they were a tough crowd. They were a very tough crowd to teach because they weren't there in the evening to get a credit or to get an evening away from home. They were passionate about what they were doing, and their questions were sometimes very difficult and challenging, but they were passionate about it, and I have a great deal of admiration. What I have learned in life, folks, is everything costs too much. I remember when we were talking about putting seat belts in cars, and they cost too much.
Oh, right.
It was absolutely ridiculous to consider that and to make people put it on. How many lives have been saved by seat belts in this world? I don't know. Thousands, maybe a million. When they came up with the concept of airbags, they were way too much money. There was no way, and it would be unfair to the public to have to pay for airbags. How many lives have they saved? I remember when smoke detectors first came out, and they were way too much money for the number of lives that they were going to save. And there was opposition from various groups saying smoke detectors are too much money. And builders said we don't want to have to bear the cost and pass on to the public, because if we had a smoke detector, they won't be able to afford the house. How many lives have smoke detectors saved? We'll never know. So now we're at another milestone in history which says we have the opportunity to do something that will save people's lives. Now, I'm somewhat surprised by some of the discussion. If you think that these sprinklers cost water damage, folks, you go into a house that's had a full-fledged blaze and see the water damage. And I suspect for a house that may be short of water in a rural area, then they're short of water for a full-fledged fire, and it takes an awful lot less water with a sprinkler system than it does to bring in the trucks and put it out. These are not high-tech systems. These are relatively simple, relatively maintenance-free. And you don't have to be awake, and you don't have to hear them go off, and you don't even have to be in the home for them to activate and save your house. Smoke detectors, we have the problem of batteries. I mean, whenever I cook, ours goes off, and it's tempting to pull that battery out. And I have to remember, at my age, I won't remember to put it back in. So we'll just leave that battery in there and put up with the noise for a few minutes.
Shouldn't cook.
My wife is hearing impaired. She has difficulty hearing the smoke detectors go off, but she wouldn't have difficulty with a sprinkler. Yep. And here's the last thing, folks. The worst thing you'll ever have in life is to live with what if. If you've ever lost a loved one, you will spend the rest of your life, if the circumstances were preventable, saying, what if? And I know people who say, what if? What if I'd gotten to the hospital sooner? What if I'd had the battery in the smoke detector? What if I've done this and done that? If putting this system in your home or building avoids you having to live every day the rest of your life with, what if I'd had a sprinkler system in the home, then it's worth every penny. If it saves one life in Ontario, folks, then this bill has served its purpose and it's worth the money. Thank you, Speaker.
Hear, hear. For Brampton Centre, Ms. Jeffries, you have 2 minutes to reply.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to thank the member from Scarborough Centre, Niagara Falls, Oakville, Prince Edward Hastings, Oxford, Haliburton, Victoria Brock, Beaches, East York, and Oshawa. What an interesting group of speakers they were this morning. I guess I wanted to sum up in the short time I have available to focus on 3 messages. What I'd like people to think about this morning after this debate is this bill is designed to protect what we value the most. We have a collective responsibility to protect the health and safety of all Ontarians. We know that sprinklers complement the early warning capability of smoke alarms by adding fire suppression. We need to encourage and educate consumers about residential fires. Our future depends on it. We need to embrace this proven technology to protect all Ontarians. Last year, we lost over 100 people. These people were our mothers, our fathers, and our children. Over time, we've lost heroes in our community, firefighters. We need to ensure that the risk for future and current firefighters is minimized. I'd like to invite all members of the House to come out and visit the Toronto Fire Services sprinkler trailer, which is outside in front of the Legislature today for an hour, and come out and see how effective and how quick acting they are. It's a wonderful little demonstration tool that we have the loan of this afternoon. The best time to include residential sprinklers and the building code would have been 25 years ago. The second best time for this legislature to make a decision that would protect all Ontarians is today. I would appreciate your support of this bill. Thank you.